What's going on, everybody? This is Randall Barnes, the founder of HBCU Pulse and the host of HBCU Pulse Radio, here in the building for another special edition of the HBCU Experience Movement interviews on today, live on YouTube. We used to do this on Instagram, but I couldn't do all the cool things I was doing with like the stay tuned drop and we got our nice little theme. So we're here on YouTube, and we're loving it. Shout out to our YouTube family. We are here in partnership with the HBCU Experience Movement for their new book they have coming out in an amazing edition of HBCU books, the HBCU Experience Movement, the Grambling State University Edition. So we have Mr. Ryan L. Williams, who's in the studio right now. We're going to bring him on in a second. And also Miss Shonnie Murrell. Grambling is always making it happen. So I'm super excited. Talked to so many Grambling alumni that are out here doing their thing. So let's go on and bring Mr. Williams in. Mr. Ryan L. Williams, how you doing today, sir?
Hey, man, I'm good. I'm blessed, brother. How are you?
Man, I'm good. Listen, I'm excited to talk to you. Grambling State University alum out here, SWAC.
Indeed.
How you feeling?
Man, it's always good when you get a chance to represent, man, and you let people know where you come from, especially when they see where you at now, and they get a chance to see that and be like, man, you went to Grambling. I was like, yeah, I went. You know what I mean? A lot of people went, but I graduated. So you got to throw that little piece in that too.
Exactly. Graduated. See, and that it's so funny because you gotta have like the meme with Whitley Gilbert, like graduated. Like that's real. That's real.
That's it.
You got to refer your HBCU all the time. But let's go on and
Most
get
definitely.
started. Yeah, let's go on and get started with the interview. So for people that don't know who you are, tell us who you are.
All right, first and foremost, man, I'm a child of God. That's the most important thing. I'm a graduate of Grambling State University in political science pre-law. I'm the chief executive officer of Seedlings Behavior Management, where we focus on mental health inside the communities for those who can't really afford the services. So we provide a lot of services to over 500 people in the Shreveport and Ruston area. So I own two health clinics, man, two mental health clinics, one in Shreveport and one in Ruston. So I'm the chief executive officer. I have right under 100 employees that I manage. I'm also the owner of Uptown Bar and Lounge in the Courtyard. I have a restaurant that's coming soon. And then I also I have some rental properties, some commercial buildings that I own and I lease out. And I'm also a part owner of Season Action Community Healthcare. We work with our geriatric clients as well.
Man, hey, listen, you get into the money. I love to see it.
Hey, you know what? My grandma used to always tell me, don't chase money. Chase the things that mean something. And those things are having high morals and integrity and things like that. Chase those kind of things and be good at those kind of things. So.
Hey, that makes sense. Like once you have that purpose and you're moving in your purpose, it's not even a job anymore. It's a calling.
Man, that's it. Man, chase value. Chase value.
Exactly. And you have to bring value to the things that you're a part of as well. And it seems like already off rip, you're doing that. But let's start with your Grambling journey. So what made you choose Grambling as your HBCU?
It's kind of, I always grew up around Grambling and it was always there. It was kind of like, that place that you knew about, you heard about, but it wasn't until you got there when you really got that feel. So, man, I played ball growing up. So, got a chance to meet Coach Eddie Robinson when he was recruiting at my high school. This was back in the day. And got a chance to meet Doug Williams and go to his football camp. So initially I was going to Grambling to play ball, man, but that didn't matriculate. That didn't happen to me. So I got to Grambling. And when I got there, man, it was like the mecca of Black education to me, because I seen all these different people doing all these different things. And it was kind of a culture shock. It's kind of like what that TV show said. It was a different world. So what I didn't realize is I'm from Shreveport. I'm from 45 minutes away. So when you get there, you realize it's people from DC, it's people from Chicago, it's people from California, it's people from Houston, it's people from New York, it's people from all around. We even had people from the islands there. So you got all these people from around the world, and you get a chance to meet these people, deal with these people, learn from them. And, we learn better from our peers. We learn better in groups. You know what I mean? And as I was doing that and I was learning that, I'm just like, man, this is awesome. And I found love there, and I found respect there, and I found people that were willing to see something in me that I couldn't even see in myself. And that just grew me.
I love it. So let's talk about your time on the yard at Grambling. So I'm gonna say a year. I love how you already laughing because you already know what time it is. We get a chance to walk down memory lane. So
You
I'm going.
want the PG version or rated R version? How you? Which?
Okay, let's meet in the middle. PG-13. Okay, we're gonna do
Okay.
PG-13. We go
Okay.
but the PG-13 version is gonna be the version that airs on TV. You know the movies, they
Oh Lord.
PG-13, the BET
Oh
version. You know the
Lord.
BET movies? That's what we're gonna do, the BET movies where it's an F word, but it's like freaking, you know what I mean? We're gonna do that version, all right? So let's start with your freshman year. So walk us through that
Ooh,
experience.
man. I come from Old Graham where you got dressed not to go to class but to go to the yard. So I'm a part of that generation, man. When you came on the yard, you was fresh. You had on clothes because you knew that right around the time the calf was letting out, you already knew what time it was. All the Greeks was gonna be on the yard. All the girls you had class with was gonna be on the yard. So when you came to the yard, you had to come with it, you know. So this is early 2002, fall of 2002, when I hit the yard. And man, it was amazing. We had a great football team, great basketball team. Coach Rob actually did my freshman orientation. Um, Doug Williams was the head coach. Dr. Neri Warner was the interim president. She was the first female president elected to serve as president at Grambling State University, and it was just live. This is when BET used to come to the yard and do that thing every year. This is when homecoming, it was just a festivity. So you got all of that, So at the end of the day, the yard would stay popping 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. All right, so and it would just be crazy. So my freshman year on the yard, and not to mention, I ended up going to Grambling with like 6 of my closest friends from high school, and we were all clicked tight, man. And we met up with some guys from other areas, and we just hung out. We kicked it, man. It was an amazing experience, and I'm gonna be honest, man. That prepared me. Just being on the yard, hanging out, kicking it, meeting people, learning how to network, talk to them. It just grew me.
I love it. I love it. And you were at Grambling at a time where it was really lit because you had Coach Eddie Robinson, legendary career, one of the best coaches of all time, if not the best college coach. I like to make the argument he's the best college coach. And folks will argue me about that because they'll say Nick Saban, they'll say so many other different names, but Coach Eddie Robinson was that guy for 57 years. And then the baton is passed to Doug Williams, the first African-American quarterback to win a Super Bowl, and he was coaching. So I already know he had to be lit on campus for
Oh
that.
man, it was beyond lit. So what a lot of people don't understand is Nick Saban, I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 years back or whatever, we won a national championship, and he became coach of the year. He was awarded the Eddie G. Robinson Coach of the Year award. So Nick Saban got the award, and every other college coach who's going to be the college coach of the year is going to get the Eddie G. Robinson award. That kills the argument right there. There's no argument after that.
Exactly. No argument at all. And he's seen every aspect of like football. He saw every aspect of it. So that's why I'm always like, man, hey, listen, he's really the GOAT. And y'all can argue over number 2 in my mind. You know what I'm saying? They ain't going to change my opinion. But let's talk about sophomore year. So sophomore year is when a lot of folks really get going. So what was sophomore year like for you?
Man, it was an adjustment. And when I say adjustment, because this is the time you're really trying to figure out, if you want to be there or not, or do you even deserve to be there? And in my sophomore year, the people I started with, a lot of them didn't come back to school. And I think we all have to deal with that detachment issue part of it. Because I work in mental health now. So I'm a mental health professional. I'm in that field now, and I'm realizing that I had detachment issues. Detachment issues to the point to where I wanted to go home because, the people I came here with, they're not here. But, some of them had flunked out. Some of them didn't have the money to come back. Some of them just didn't want to come back. But all my stuff lined up. I had the aid to come. I had the grades to stay there. And it was just like, what you going home for, man? So I kid you not. My mother noticed that I started staying home. So what I would do, brother, kid you not, I'd go home on a Thursday, right? And it's supposed to be the party day, just so I can be home with my friends and my people that's no longer in school. And I wouldn't leave out till Monday. So I'm getting ready to leave out one Monday. My mother pulls me to the side. She says, come have a seat. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, you're leaving out on Monday. You're coming back on Thursday. If you're spending that much time away from school, what are you doing at school? She said, and she looked me dead in my eyes. And she said, don't come back here. I was pissed. Man, I was pissed. Like, you telling me I can't come home? And she was like, don't come back here. So I got so damn mad at her and I got so upset with her I said, you know what? I'm gonna do exactly what you say. I ain't coming back. And what I did was I started staying on the weekends. And that's when I started meeting those people from other areas who couldn't go home on the weekends. So that's why I met James Dawson, who was from Chicago by way of Oakland. Me and him started kicking it real tight. Met my boy Maurice Fervin, who was from New Orleans. We started kicking it. My boy Chad Patterson from Maryland, from Baltimore, started kicking it. And I just started kicking it with people that were not, I got out of my circle and really started kicking it, really started learning and hanging out with people. And I grew from right there. Another growing point, man, in my sophomore year. So my mother set me down and was like, hey, man, don't come back here. And now that I look back on it, she did me a favor because I started staying and I started doing things a little different.
And I think that's important because you have to get out your comfort zone. And that was one
Heck yeah.
thing when I was at my HBCU Fort Valley, we used to always talk about that because my freshman year, because Fort Valley is only a few minutes away from my hometown of Macon, Georgia. So I used to always go home on the weekends my freshman year, but I really didn't get that true experience until my sophomore year and on up when I stayed over those weekends. Now I might go back to get a haircut or something, get that the off-campus haircut experience, but I would
Yeah.
be on campus and I would really experience, what college life is like, what being on my own is like. And that's what we always try to preach to the students is that you have to stay on campus because that's what makes it live on the weekend. So I'm glad you had that experience because it forced you out your comfort zone. But let's talk about junior year. So junior year for me, I know junior year was like my peak year. So what was junior year like
Oh
for you?
man. Whew. Junior year, man. My junior year in college, I became a father. I became a father, man. And coincidentally, that young man that I became a father to is a freshman, is a straight A student, a freshman at Grambling now. So he's actually going into his second semester of his freshman year at Grambling right now. So I became a father to a little boy named Jordan Browley, and he's doing amazing. He's doing phenomenal. He's making his own way. So it's in my learning and in my matriculation and my kicking it, I ended up having a little boy, and man, I tell him all the time. I said, "You're the boy that made me a man." Because I had to grow up for you. I had to be better for you. I had to finish school for you. I had to do things. I had to do uncommon things to get some common results for you. I mean, to get some uncommon results for you because I never wanted my son to look at me and think that um, I wasn't good enough or I wasn't worthy or that I was a quitter. And that just wasn't in me, man. So I applied some pressure and became the man I am today because, I had a child and that grew me. So I became a father my sophomore year.
Wow. Like I think that's amazing because I always hear about what fatherhood does, to especially a black man, how it really forces you to step up and you really have a different sense of understanding of life and responsibility. And I hear that in your story. So I got to
Yeah,
ask
yeah,
you this
definitely.
real quick. I got to ask you this before we get to your senior year. So, like, what advice did you give your son Jordan since now he's a freshman at Grambling? And how does it feel? You built a legacy at Grambling. How does it feel?
Man, it's so he and I had a conversation. We had to have a heart to heart talk. And I'm well known on the campus. Well known on the campus. I have an endowment at Grambling State University, and I'm always there. I'm always doing stuff there. I'm a noob, so and I'm 45 minutes away, and I own a nightclub 45 minutes away. So a lot of people know me, and they know my business, and I have a business down there. And it's just like, man, that's your dad. Ryan Williams. So he has to deal with that, but he's been doing it phenomenally well. And some of the best advice I gave him, man, was to be himself. Don't go down there and try to be me. Don't go do that. Don't go throwing no parties and try to be that guy. Don't go do that kind of stuff. Just be you. Be you. Handle your business. I'm gonna set you up for success. You're gonna be successful. You just gotta work at it every day and stay strong. And make sure that I'm always the first call whenever something is going wrong or whenever something's going right. Just make sure, hey, I'm gonna call my dad and this is what we're gonna do. So that's the advice that I give him. And to stay focused. Stay focused. And if you're gonna be intimate with a young lady, make sure you use protection. And they gotta have that conversation with him. Talk to him about being, fatherhood and all the rest of the stuff, and talk to him about my struggles as a young father and his mother's struggles as a young mother. So have those real conversations. I think that we forget that, just like our children are human, we're human too.
That's real. And it's so crazy because like I think that's what we all want. When you go to an HBCU, you want to build that legacy, that HBCU legacy in your family. And you're doing this. That's really inspirational. And then I'm like, man, this is goals. Because you get into the money, you helping people. Like you got a son that go to your HBCU, man. Listen, I'm looking at what things gonna be for me in the future. You know what I'm saying?
Most
So
definitely.
man, listen, it's motivation. It's motivation. So let's talk about senior year. So senior year is when it's time to get up out of there. So what was senior year like for you?
See, man, I had a full-time job. I had four roommates. We were sharing a house together. I was as broke as I've ever been in my life. Um, and it was a struggle, man. So I had a choice. I had a choice between law school and the military, and I chose the Air Force. So, but I didn't tell nobody that I wasn't going to law school until my graduation dinner. And my dad got up, he gave this great speech about him going to college and what it took for him to go to college because his mother died his sophomore year, and he was the oldest of nine kids. And he gave this phenomenal speech about him going to school and him becoming who he is. And then my mom, she gets up and she tells this phenomenal speech about being a 17-year-old high school pregnant dropout and going back and becoming a nurse. And I stood up and, they expected me to announce this law school and me moving to Baton Rouge. And I'm like, nope, going to the United States Air Force and I'm out of here. And they were like, what? Because this is 2008. This is the fall of 2007. And Barack Obama has not even been elected yet. George Bush is still a president. We're fighting two wars, Afghanistan and, we're in Iraq right now. We haven't even made it to Afghanistan. And it's going down. So my dad is looking at me like, man, we didn't, you got through school and you finna go to the military. My mama like, you finna do what? I mean, it was almost like the music stopped playing. And so I decided to go serve my country, and I went to the United States Air Force and worked in aerospace propulsion. So I made planes fly for 3.5 years. And
Wow.
at that time, I wanted to have benefits for my child. I wanted to, do something honorable. And I figured that was the best time for me to, if I was going to ever go to the military, that was the best time I ever went, man. And it turned out to be one of the greatest and best decisions that I've ever made in my life.
I can imagine. And my dad was in the service. He was in Desert Storm. So I already know how that experience, can really make you and really show you a lot of a perspective of the world and our importance, to the world. So I think that's amazing. So with your experience at Grambling, like what year would you consider your success year? If you had to choose one year that really sets you up for the life that you lived and the life you're at now, like what year would you consider that to be?
And it's gonna be that senior year because you're fighting to get out of there. I mean, you've been here, you know everybody, you're comfortable, but you're fighting to get out of there because there's so many things that's pulling you back. Oh man, you'll graduate next semester. Don't worry about that. Or you'll do this, and everything inside of you is saying, nah, man, you need to move on. You need to move on. Because we all know those one or two people that's just stuck on the yard and they've been there forever. And everybody, I never wanted to be that person. I wanted to be the person where when I came back, young brothers could be like, oh yeah, I remember when he was here, man, the dude doing good for himself. I wanted to be that person. And I knew that I couldn't do that unless I, stepped out and did what I was going to do. And it was that senior year. So I just, I had to give up a lot in order to get something back. And I basically gave up everything and, and dipped out and went to the Air Force, man, and started all the way over. I tell people all the time, two of the hardest transitions I ever made in my life was from college to the military. Another hard transition was from military to civilian life. Those are some of the hardest transitions you ever are going to make in your life. And if you can make them and make it through it, then man, sky's the limit. Because when I got to the Air Force, I realized that I could compete with people all over the world. This is just not, black and white. This is everybody. And when I got there, I realized that Grambling had equipped me to compete against people from all across the world. Man, I was number one in my leadership class. I was number one in my tech class. And these are people that went to prestigious schools. These are people who went to schools all over the country. And I'm standing shoulder to shoulder with them, as an HBCU grad.
Wow. So what was that transition from military life, back to a regular life? Like, what was that like? What was that transition?
Oh man, it was hell. It was hell because when you get out, you lose. I had 3.5 years of comfort. So I had 3.5 years of I'm gonna get a check on the 1st and 15th. I got somewhere to live. I got a decent car. only thing I got to worry about is going to Iraq and Afghanistan, getting deployed. That's my only worry. I know my job, everything is good, but I knew it was something bigger for me. I knew it was something better for me. I knew that the only way I could get to that is if I became a civilian again. So that transition was rough. It was hard, man. But with a lot of prayer, with a lot of work, with a lot of planning, because I've always been a planner. I'm gonna always have a plan. My partners will tell you, man, this dude has had a plan since we've been in kindergarten. Like, how we gonna get extra snacks? Ryan got a plan. Let's get it. It's always been like that. But just had a plan, man, and I stepped out on faith, man, and it got me to where I'm at today. So I didn't just naturally go into where I'm at today. It took some work and some efforts.
I feel that. I feel that. And yeah, I think that's something that people have to understand about this experience is that it's not one experience. Like, it takes like a lot of different ways, a lot of different paths to get where you're supposed to go. And I think that oftentimes when you're in school, you think of this beautiful, perfect life and you're trying to find a way to get there, but it's so diverse. And I think that for my generation, because I graduated in the fall of 2019, I think that we look at social media and we look at the result, but not the journey to that result. And it's so cliche to say that, but it's really the truth. Like, we see the money, we see the businesses, we see the wife, the husband, the kids, but we don't understand the journey to getting there. So I think, what's powerful is that you're showing that there's a different way. And I think that's a perfect lead into your chapter in the HBCU Experience, the Grambling State University Edition. I want you to give us a little preview, like not too much, but a little bit of a preview of what your chapter is about.
Man, my chapter's about me. My chapter's about being a father. It's about being a Kappa man. It's about my growth. Uh, and shout out to Miss Ashley Little, man. I gave her hell trying to get my chapters in because, man, I'm so busy and I'm not a typer or a writer, But she worked with me and she got me in there, man. But my chapters are gonna be real. They're gonna be about me, and I mainly did it for my children. When I'm dead, they can pick up that book or what who the dad was from that perspective. Because at the end of the day, man, they don't see the business, they don't see the money, they don't see any of that. They just know that, oh, that's my dad.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. So the HBCU Experience Movement, the Grambling State University Edition, is coming out soon. Like everything, we're gonna have all the information. It's gonna be really dope. I'm excited to read your chapter, but before we go, I want you to let us know where we can find you on social media and also how we can support you and your businesses.
All right, so you can find me on Facebook at Ryan Williams. My Instagram is Ryan_.Williams. I'm not on Twitter that much, but it's RL Who on Twitter. Instagram and Facebook will be the closest ways to reach me, or by email at rwilliams@seedlinks.net. That's rwilliams@seedlinks.net. That's my email address. All my handles or whatever. And if you want to support my business, I'm gonna say this: lighten the load. And what I mean by lighten the load is to take care of yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally. We have some people out here who are dealing with some mental health issues and some crisis. And before you ask them what's wrong with them, ask them what happened to them. Because a lot of our brothers and sisters inside of our own community, we've stigmatized mental health so bad to where, we just want to say, oh, that boy crazy. Oh, he's not right. Well, figure out why he crazy. Figure out why he's not right. And let's get him on a path of being healthy. And that's been my whole goal, man. It's been my passion, man. Of course, I've done extremely well in this field. My companies are doing great. But at the end of the day, man, it does nobody no good if we still got sick people out here that are in need of help each and every day. So I want everybody who can hear my voice and everybody that's tuned in right now and everybody that's going to watch this to understand one thing. Take care of yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally. You matter to somebody. You matter to everybody. And remember that.
I love it. I love it. That's a great way to end the interview. And Mr. Williams, Ryan L. Williams, I really appreciate you. Like I said, I cannot wait to read your chapter of the book.
Man, I hope it's one of the ones that stands out. I hope it can help somebody. I hope that it's something that, for years to come, people are going to be able to enjoy it, man. And I appreciate your time, brother. And I appreciate you for highlighting HBCUs, man. That's very, very, very important. So I'm going to pray for you and you keep doing the work that you're doing, man.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And it's definitely going to impact a lot of people because that's what books do. It's going to be passed on and on and on. And one thing that, I was taught by my dad is that, you have like a car, like once you drive a car off the lot, it depreciates in value. But a book, honestly, it appreciates in value because of the knowledge and experiences that are in that book, especially nonfiction books. So it's definitely going to travel and it's definitely going to grow in its value over time. So I really appreciate you for what you did in putting your experience in the HBCU Experience movement, the Grambling State University Edition. I really appreciate that.
No doubt, homie.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you now. Stay safe.
You too. All right. So that was an amazing interview with Mr. Ryan L. Williams, Grambling State University alumnus. I get it mixed up all the time. I'm so sorry. But Grambling State University alumnus, I think that was amazing. And what he said about mental health is very important and very pertinent. So we're going to come back in a second. So we're going to be talking to Shonnie Murrell, musician. She was a member of Grambling's world famed Tiger marching band. So I already know it's going to be a lot of amazing experiences, especially when we talk about that freshman to senior year. So make sure to stay tuned. You're listening to HBCU Pulse Radio. This is the HBCU Experience Movement interview series.
HBCUs are more than a trend.
Yeah.
We're forever a part of the culture. HBCU Pulse always has you on lock. From the shade room to your favorite news feed, and now on your TV and radio. We are the #1 outlet for HBCU culture. Follow HBCU Pulse on social media and visit hbcupulse.com to stay up to date on what's going on in the HBCU community.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to HBCU Pulse Radio. So we're about to bring our next interview guest on, Miss Shonnie Murrell. We'll be having that going on in a second. But before we do that, I want to play a little clip that was one of my favorite clips from our first interview with lead author for the Grambling State University Edition, Miss Avery Thomas.
When it came up that he was projected to be the winner, I wish that the cell phone videos and everything that's big now was big then, because you could have sworn that you know how people react when they win the World Cup. They get the running everywhere and you can't see the ground anymore, and people jumping on cars and people, oh my gosh, that was life. That was life. The entire union, the entire street between the cafeteria, like the entire yard, just full of young Black folks, just excited at the fact that we are able to see the day that a Black man becomes president of the United States.
HBCUs are more than a trend.
Yeah.
We're forever a part of the culture. HBCU Pulse always has you on lock. From the shade room to your favorite news feed, and now on your TV and radio. We are #1 outlet for HBCU culture. Follow HBCU Pulse on social media and visit hbcupulse.com to stay up to date on what's going on in the HBCU community.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the HBCU Experience Movement, Grambling State University Edition interviews. So next, I'm going to bring on Miss Shonnie Murrell. She is a musician and former member of Grambling's world-famed Tiger Marching Band. And I see her in the backstage. She's going crazy when I'm saying that. So I know it's going to be a really fun interview. Let's go on and bring her on. Shonnie Murrell, how you doing, Shonnie?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for your patience with me and everything. You see, I had a G on my chest.
Yeah, I see it.
As you can see, yes. How you
I
doing?
see this. Listen, it's all good. I'm great. I'm super excited to talk to you. I read your bio and I was like, wow, I was just like taken away by all the things that you've done in your alumni career and even what you did when you were at Grambling. So let's just go on and get started. Tell us a little bit about who you are.
Well, I am a singer and celebrity percussionist. I'm a part of the Recording Academy. So that's big, you know, being a part of the Grammys. And I sit on the Board of Education with the Grammys. I've started like over 12 music programs from the ground up, but I'm also an artist. So I have a 9-piece band, and my sound is kind of like a HBCU mixed in with the Earth, Wind, and Fire, mixed in with a little Latin. So, you know, a lot of different things.
Hey, listen, and really, Earth, Wind, and Fire is really HBCU sound. Because whatever HBCU you go to, you go here before I let go.
You go hear what's that song? Written in the Stone. You gonna hear all of those different tunes, you know, by Earth, Wind, and Fire. So it's really cool, you know, and to be able to mix in like R&B and hip hop and Latin in there and the funk, like it's a fun time.
And then I want to say this too. Folks sleep on September. Like September is lit too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like because you got Before I Let Go is the one that like that's what the line dance and folks be doing the dance. But September, I don't dance personally, but when I'm sitting back and casually observing the dances, September is a nice song. You know what I'm saying? That's just what you say.
September is definitely a nice song. And, let's groove tonight. That's
yes.
Let's
that's another too.
Tonight.
But see, you don't hear that on the yard. You hear that more at the alumni functions. You know, when the alumni are around and like they're frying, you know, fish and they grilling. That's when you hear that song. You know what I'm saying? The young folks here before I let go. just being real. But let's just talk about, you know, your journey at Grambling. So what made you choose Grambling as your HBCU?
Well, actually, like what a lot of people don't know is that people think I'm from Houston. Well, I was raised here. But I actually attended Alma J. Brown in Grambling. So my roots are there. And I'm originally from Jonesboro, Louisiana, not too far away, probably like 20, 25 minutes away from Grambling. So all my immediate family is there. And my mom used to own a beauty shop by the bus station on Grambling's campus. And you have all these celebrities coming in and out the beauty salon as I was a kid. I had a chance to meet Coach Eddie Robinson multiple times. He would just come and sit in my mom's beauty salon, I guess just like to, you know, take a break and talk. And he would give me $1 each and every time that he would come in, autograph the $1, and guess what I would do with the $1?
Would you sell it?
I would go spend it.
I was about to say, I'd sell it. Like, that's Eddie Robinson. Hey, you know, I'll be on eBay. And like, y'all want this Eddie Robinson $1?
Right, and so and like still to this day, I'm like, oh my God! But you know, when you in elementary, you don't know really any better what you really had, you know, until it's gone. And so he was really close with my mom and my dad, and just my relatives. Majority everybody attended Grambling and made a lot of history at Grambling. So I knew that, you know, coming back to Houston after my mom got married, that's why I wanted to go. I would always have Grambling, rock the paraphernalia in middle school and high school. Everybody knew that's where I was going. I just didn't know if it would be through athletics or music because I was good at softball and basketball.
Hey, I love it. So let's talk about your experience at Grambling. So we're going to go year by year. So I want you really to give as vivid of a story as possible, and it just take us there through your experience through each year. So let's start with your freshman year.
My freshman year, I was extremely nervous going in because, like I said, I attended high school in Houston, and I was in a band here in Houston, but that band was core style. So coming from a core style high school band to a show band, is completely different. That's like, marching at USC, you coming to Grambling, it's like, oh my God, two totally different things. So we arrived this time around. Upperclassmen and freshmen had to come at the same time, and that normally doesn't happen in the band. So this was the second time in the band's history that had occurred, because we had an early game in Austin, and in August, and the first game was in San Jose, California. So I only had like literally a week to learn the marching technique, all the cadences, because being that I was on the drum line, I'm the first girl that played quads and quints in the band. So, and I'm the only freshman coming in as a female on the drum line. So, that was tough within itself, being in a male-dominated section. So, once I arrived on campus, my relatives, they cheered me on while I was there. I got a chance to meet my crab brothers and sisters from all different walks of life in different states, and that was amazing. It was very strenuous. We would actually have to get up 5 a.m. Every morning, and I call him the devil, but his name is Terry Lilly, and he would get you in top-notch shape really quick. He's the cheerleading coach, and doing aerobics with him is like, oh my God, killer. So every morning at 5 a.m., right after Terry Lilly, we would have to train with the Marine Corps. So I'm a military brat, and my dad is a Marine vet, and being with that, like it was strenuous too. So just learning that and being on campus, you're the first ones to get up in the morning, you the last ones to get home at nighttime. Midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. So it was hard work, and my first football game was in San Jose. We played San Jose State. It was sold out, over 60,000 people. Nobody, you go for the football games, but what you really here for. You really here for the halftime show, So that first game, that halftime show, all I remember is seeing the drum majors, hearing the whistle, and all of a sudden I saw like this smoke in the air, and I heard these cannons go off. I wasn't prepared for that because they didn't teach us about, they didn't do all of that in the run through for halftime. So I was like, oh my God, like, and all you hear is, whoa. Oh my God. And so, yeah, I remember the beginning of that field show still to today, and the ending of that field show still to today. So after that game, that first game, everybody want to come up to you. They want autographs. They want pictures. They want your glove. They want your drumstick, literally everything. And going back on campus, like everybody could identify us because we would have to wear white and black, So everybody knew you was in the band. They really knew who I was because I'm this girl that played all these drums. They didn't know what the name of these drums were. And I ended up being freshman of the year, unexpected, surprisingly, So this girl that plays this part on drumline, it was like she was doing a one-arm push-up. Like that was literally me. Like literally, like, okay, upperclassmen, you can talk all this noise, but I'm really coming. Like, I was really, really hardcore. So yeah, it was a fun time my freshman year.
So you brought up drumline, and typically when I interview folks that have been in the band, because we've been doing these interviews for the past year or so, at least live visual video. So what are the similarities and differences between drumline and your experience in the world-famed Tiger Marching Band?
I would say the similarities, I don't know if people know, but let's back up and do a little history. It was a lady from Fox, from the movie, the Paramount Fox or whatever. She came down. This was right before I got to Grambling, and she studied the band, and she began to like write things down, and she took what she wanted to, and she left what she wanted to leave. And that drumline movie was kind of like they took bits and pieces. So the similarities is the white and black. You know, the white t-shirts, the black pants. You're talking about with all HBCUs, the P1s, P2s. I actually became I was a P1 going in with the full ride. I mean, it's a lot of similarities, and you can even see Grambling in the movie doing the little, you know, the Battle of the Bands portion, playing what is that song? Mystical. You keep bumping me against the wall. Yeah. So you can see them in there, and you know that they had a part to play in that movie, and just in general written in. The differences is, I would say, it caught me off guard with the drum line, you know, members auditioning on the field, and then you see the car lights flicker, and maybe somebody somewhere else, you know, they might do something like that. Another similarity is those dang on running the stadium, the bleachers. Oh my God, you talking about hell? So that's a similarity. Let me back up. That's a similarity with the drum over your head. Hated it. What else? What's another difference? We didn't let freshmen. You really didn't say too much. You know, that's a difference too. You just played your, you know, stay in your lane, play your part, and you going about your business. You know, you really didn't have too much to say. So that's the difference too. So shocking to see. You know, that's a movie, so that's shocking to see. But I would say overall it was a good movie. It was great to see Grambling in there. They're shining, and it made me excited to want to go to Grambling because, like I said, the movie came out before I got there.
I love it. I love it. And, you know, it's so funny. You said, you know, that the flashing lights thing, y'all didn't do that at Grambling, but it's crazy that even a fictional HBCU has traditions. Isn't that crazy? Like, you know what I'm saying? Where it's a fictional HBCU, but there are traditions that other folks don't do. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is, even the make-believe HBCUs have something that they do that's different for everybody else. I just find that's very interesting. That is so interesting. All right, so let's talk about sophomore year. So sophomore year is when, you know, folks really start to come into their self and, you know, really start to understand what college is like. So what was sophomore year like for you?
Oh my God, sophomore year, like you're right. I started to notice like different organizations I wanted to be in. Grambling didn't offer the major that I wanted to major in, which was entertainment or business. So I majored in music my freshman year, and then my sophomore year I switched it over to business management because I'm an entrepreneur. So business management, and I began to like I guess you could say become more alive, and you know, I can go out a little bit every now and then. You see everything on the yard coming to life. Like, you know, your freshman year that was hard. You know, you just getting in, but your sophomore year you're learning like people in general, like the cafeterias ladies, like nobody really focuses in on it, but at Grambling, like you have to focus in on cafeteria ladies because they were hilarious. And everybody knew about Fish Friday and different things going on. I would say also my sophomore year, I began to now I have a voice. Like, you know, now it's go time because now I know I have something that I want to accomplish, and I'm standing on the shoulder of my relatives because they have accomplished what they have accomplished there. So now I'm focusing in on what is it that I really want to do? What do I want to become in this band? Because at first I thought I wanted to become Miss Grambling, right? So then it switched. I was like, no, I think I want to become the first female drum major at Grambling. I really strive for it too, but I ended up being a drill sergeant my sophomore year, and which put me in a leadership role. And I trained, you know, the incoming freshmen, and I was able to, you know, groom and mold them incoming. So that's what my sophomore year was like.
I love it. I love it. Like, it seems like just all out the gate, you were really involved and had a lot of diverse experiences. You were just really involved in a lot of different organizations on campus that really molded you into where you are today. So let's talk about your junior year, because I know junior year for me, that was my peak year. That was when, you know, things started to really come together. So what was junior year like for you?
Oh, my junior year, I became master drill sergeant. I think I'm the third female master drill sergeant in the history of the band, and that's the highest position in the band. Everybody think it's a drum major, but it's really that master drill sergeant. So being in that position as a female, you know, in a male dominating band, you know, you'll get tried, but it was like, oh my God, like it's really go, 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 go time now. So being able to work hand in hand with Dr. Edwin Thomas, who's over like discipline and the drills on the field, and a part of the dance committee, being and seeing all these different things, and you have to basically say yay or nay. Like that was really fun for me. And on top of making sure that you stay on your A game on your instrument too. So that was very great for me. And then too, you know, you have a lot of people that come to Grambling to do interviews, commercials. We're constantly, that's how we were. We were constantly in commercials and movies and just different things, parades. But this particular time, my junior year, these BET producers, they wanted to come on campus to film College Hill, right? So they were, my band director was like, no, we're not doing College Hill. The president said no. They turned it down. So, okay, they went back to the drawing board. They came back again. We have a show, and we want to call this show Season of the Tiger, which came out around College Hill time. And I looked at everything that they were doing, what they were talking about, what the show was going to be about. And I wanted to make sure that if I did get on the show, because I was asked and I had to pray about it. You know, you got to pray about things before you accept it. So I was like, God, you know, if you really want me to do this, you know, give me some type of sign. And one of the producers, we still friends to today. He's actually out here right now. We're working on something else right now. And he was like, hey, what is your position? Because I see you walking around, you know, you got a clipboard, you're hollering at people, you're doing this. I said, I'm the master drill sergeant. He was like, oh, tell me more. So it went from there. And that's how I became a character on Season of the Tiger as master drill sergeant. And, you know, they called me the mean girl on the show. And it took me from, you know, 106 in Park to BET Awards. I was already opening up concerts on campus and off of campus for different ones like Rick Ross, Lil Wayne. Man, the list goes on. So that's what my junior year consisted of, becoming a reality star.
So, because I was going to ask, because I Googled it right here. Like, I was going to ask you, like, where I can find it, because I've always heard about Season of the Tiger, but I think I found it. Wait a minute. I think it's on YouTube. Wait a minute. Season of the Tiger, episode 1. I see Grant. I think I might see you. I'm not going to lie. I might see you already. Just like, I'm looking at it right here. I see right here. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh, man. Hey, listen. Hey, after the playoffs go off, you know, because listen, I'll be going to sleep like 3:00. So like after the playoffs go, I was going about 1:00. Episode 1 and 2 loaded up. You feel me? So, because I was gonna ask where I can find it. Now I done found it. So what was it like? What was it like being on the show? Because, you know, like it's interesting that College Hill, they wanted College Hill at Grambling, and you know, I've been really big on covering College Hill recently because, you know, it just came back and it's going to be at Alabama State with the celebrities May the 11th. So, you know, it's going to come back for season 2. So I was doing a lot of coverage. I interviewed, you know, the season 1 cast that was at Southern, season 2 cast that was at Langston, and of course that season 1 cast was at Southern. So they said no to bring in like College Hill to Grambling?
No, they did not want that at Grambling at all. I guess it was because of like the drama and like the fighting that they saw. So all the negatives. And they were like, oh no, you know, our students, yeah, we're not going to portray that light at all. So, you know, but it was entertaining too, but they just didn't, you know, they were not too fond of College Hill at that time.
I mean, just at that point, like I can look at it from an administrator because I think just, for us, like we want to see that first season, and that first season is never going to see the light of day. Like even the cast members at that time, they don't have it because I asked them. I was like, they sent me some clips. I saw some clips, but they don't even have it. You don't have access to it. It's on like VHS tapes that they haven't like burned over.
Right.
But like I think it's just interesting because of like the impact in which a show like that can have on whoever's on its life and also on the school. So Grambling is already well known for Eddie G. Robinson. You have the world famous Tiger Marching Band. Erykah Badu went to Grambling, so Grambling is already well known. But like, what do you think the impact of Season of the Tiger had on Grambling, like, and also on your life?
Oh my God. Like I've heard so many people have come up to me, ma'am, you are the reason why I attended Grambling. And thousands of people have told me this. And I'm like, what? Whoa. Cause I was always portrayed as the mean girl. But for me, it impacted my life because I knew from a very young age, like the age of, I want to say 3 or 4, that I wanted to be in entertainment, So being able to have that experience and being around all the different celebrities, Tracy Edmonds, Tracy Edmonds, and like all the ones, Beyonce, Jay-Z. I'm seeing all these people. I'm in the same room. You got Deborah Lee, who was the president at the time. Like we are at the Ritz-Carlton chilling together, like having little, she was drinking a cocktail. I had some juice at the time, but just being around it impacted me in so many different ways. Being trained on how to do interviews, they would teach you those different things, and making sure that you're on time. That's a given when you're in the band anyway, but having those people to assist you, it's a different type of feeling. Having wardrobe stylists, having, you get you a little massage before you have to go on stage and speak. Like it's different. So it impacted me, and it made me the person that I am today. Like literally, I'm doing basically the same thing now, and traveling and touring and playing. So it's great. It was a great experience.
I can imagine. So I know that senior year had to be crazy because you were on the show your junior year, and then you were the master drill sergeant. So what was senior year like for you?
My senior year, man, I was getting letters from all different places. Even got some letters from people in prison. Like it was crazy. Touring, I would have to go to doing a high school tour, middle school tour, but at the same time making sure that I'm still on my A game in the band, and being there and making sure that I don't forget who it is that I am, in the band sense, and making my band director, Dr. Larry Pennell and Dr. Thomas and Mr. Lacey, Mr. Spencer, they were like a real life Coming to America barbershop scene characters. That's them. So they would pull me in the corner and just chew me up. Like this girl here, this Dr. Pennell voice, this girl here thinks she Hollywood, and yada yada yada. So keeping me grounded. So my senior year was full of a lot of VIP type deals. I even had a chance to speak with Sheila E. at that time, and even years later, she became one of my mentors, and remembered me. So that senior year was amazing. That senior year was very amazing.
So what would your advice be to HBCU students that want to succeed in the music industry? Because of course, those shows and those opportunities don't exist anymore, and social media exists. And I think that one of the big caveats of what that was is that, everybody didn't get picked for that, but you did. And then what came from that was an amazing experience that led to the further growth of your career. But now everybody has social media. You can make it on social media. You can get 10,000 followers on social media, but everybody got 10,000 followers, and now everybody's verified because you can just buy it. So it's a little bit different. So what would your advice be to students trying to get into the music industry and do the same things that you're doing?
I would just say, hone in on your craft. Like, and I'm practicing what I preach, but like posting every day. It's funny that you say all these different things because my partner and I, we had this conversation about the blue check being verified. So they have the world in their hands. It's easier, like you're saying, it's easier for them. All you got to do is post, hashtag, and then you can pay a little extra, on the back end to get those views and those followers up. And people, they don't go by pure talent anymore. It's about how many followers you have, how many streams. But I would just say hone in on your craft and learn more about it's a program in the Grammys called Grammy U. Have you ever heard of Grammy U?
I actually have.
You have.
Yeah.
So being in school, I never heard of Grammy U until I got into the actual recording academy itself. Like becoming a part of that, doing internships and just staying in the loop with everybody, like-minded people. And making sure, you pray every day. Like, God, is this what you really want me to do? So that's the key factor. Just praying every day and just honing in on it, like eating it up. Like learn from somebody that has already done it and done it great, or learn from someone that's doing it now and doing a great job at it. And keeping yourself around like-minded individuals to keep moving and keep being creative.
I love that. I love that. So, you're here because we are doing the promotion for the HBCU Experience, the Grambling State University Edition. So I want you to give us a little snippet of your chat because I know it's lit. I know it's amazing because you've had a lot of experiences being on TV, Sheila E., all these different things you've done in your career and also when you were at Grambling, the Master Drill Sergeant. So what is your chapter about in the book?
It's basically what we've been talking about, my childhood experiences, being around like my relatives. I had a lot of relatives who played under Coach Eddie Robb, who went to the NFL. My cousins, my uncles, the Anderson brothers. Scotty Anderson was one of the best wide receivers that come out of Grambling, So, and being around him, me and him, we double trouble. So being around him, learning from him, seeing him on a football field and off the field and walking around with him on campus, that was huge for me because I seen that HBCU love, like everybody gravitated towards you. And our slogan at Grambling, a place where everybody is somebody, like you really somebody. So that stuck with me. It talks about Erykah Badu, how she used to come into my mom's beauty salon, hang out with my dad and his friends. What's old boy name from Family Matters? Eddie. He played Eddie Winslow.
And like Darius McCrary.
Yes, Darius McCrary. Yeah. He used to come in the beauty shop too because his uncle owned the souvenir shop next to my mom's beauty shop. So, all these different people just coming in and out. Natalie DeSalle, God rest her soul. She used to be in the beauty shop all the time with my mom, washing people's hair and everything, helping my mom out. So I was around greatness. Doug Williams, married to one of my cousins, and I was just around it, So you'll see a lot of that and read a lot of that in the chapter.
Oh man, I'm super excited for this chapter. Like I'll like this, so I'll be able to read the chapter and then compare it to Season of the Tiger. I'm gonna see what episode. I'm gonna see what you talking about. Okay, what episode you talking about here? Let me go. We gonna link it up because it's almost like a puzzle. Just piece it all together. So I love it. Was super excited. To read your chapter in the Grambling State University Edition of the HBCU Experience that's coming soon to Amazon. So one more thing before we go, where can we find you on social media and how can we support you?
You can find me on social media at Shonnie Murrell. That's SHONNIE. Murrell is MURRELL on all my social media. I think that you can support me by streaming my music. I have a few songs out right now, working on some new deals right now. I have a song with Warren G and my cousin Max Sean 100 at the Dog Pound. Big shout out to you. called Cotton Candy. The other one is Everything, Ready for the Weekend. And just follow your girl. Like, just follow me and just watch my story. Because it's definitely interesting, Lord. Definitely.
Listen, we already can see it is amazing. So we're super excited to read your chapter, and we definitely gonna tap in. We definitely all need to follow. Everybody watching is going for sure follow on social media. But thank you so much for coming on, Shonnie.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate that.
No problem, no problem. It's an amazing interview for sure. Amazing interview.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, that was really dope. But we're going to go on and get out of here. So make sure to follow HBCU Pulse on social media, on Instagram, and of course on YouTube at HBCU Pulse, Twitter and TikTok, the HBCU Pulse. Also make sure to listen to HBCU Pulse Radio on Sirius XM, channel 142, HBCU, every Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central. We're talking about the NFL draft coming up. It's going to be really dope and really cool. But outside of that, thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, we'll see you on the other side. And we'll be back for more interviews for the HBCU Experience, the Grambling State University Edition. Coming soon to Amazon. So make sure to tap in with that.
Like what you hear?
Yeah.
Subscribe to HBCU Pulse Radio on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, head to hbcupulse.com to stay up to date on what's going on in the HBCU community. Thank you for listening to HBCU Pulse Radio.